Have you ever stopped to think how much money is hidden in each colorful explosion in the sky? Each rocket you see lighting up the night is not just entertainment. It is part of a gigantic economy that moves trillions of dollars annually. Yes, trillions. We are not talking only about fireworks. We are talking about an industry connected to mining, defense, civil construction, entertainment, and explosive technology. The global market for explosives and pyrotechnics is worth more than $32 billion per year. But when you add all the connected industries, mining that consumes 8 million tons of explosives annually, military defense that spends hundreds of billions, civil construction that destroys and builds entire cities, we easily reach trillions of dollars circulating in this ecosystem, and you are at the center of this. Every time you attend a pyrotechnic show, every time you consume products extracted from mines, every time you drive through tunnels built with explosives, you are participating in this trillion-dollar economy. I am going to show you how much money is really involved and why this matters for your life, your work, and your investments. Why does this market exist? The answer is simple. Explosives and pyrotechnics meet fundamental human needs. Mining feeds the modern economy. Without explosives, there's no extraction of coal, iron, copper, gold. Without these materials, there are no smartphones, cars, buildings, infrastructure. National defense depends on explosives. The security of entire countries is built on pyrotechnic technology. Civil construction uses explosives to demolish, excavate tunnels, open roads through mountains. Global entertainment consumes billions of units of fireworks per year. More than 50,000 pyrotechnic events happen annually in the United States alone. How many countries depend on this? Practically all of them. China produces more than 70% of the world's fireworks. The United States, India, Europe, Latin America all consume massively. How many people make money? Millions. From chemists who develop explosive compounds to factory workers, transporters, sellers, event companies, governments that collect taxes. The scale is international. Understanding this market is understanding how wealth is created, distributed, and multiplied globally. This is not a small market. It is an economic force that sustains entire civilizations. Let us get to the real numbers. The global fireworks market alone is worth approximately $3 billion per year. Sounds like a lot. It is only the beginning. The global market for explosives and pyrotechnics is worth more than $32 billion annually. Projected growth? 4.3% per year. That means in 10 years this market will be worth more than $47 billion. But here is the secret. Fireworks are just the visible tip of the iceberg. The mining industry consumes 68% of all explosives produced globally. That represents more than 8 million tons of explosives per year. How much is it worth? Hundreds of billions of dollars when you consider the value of extracted minerals. Coal, iron, copper, gold, diamonds. Everything depends on explosives. The defense industry consumes 20% of global explosives, approximately 1.5 million tons per year. How much do governments spend on defense? More than $2 trillion annually worldwide. Civil construction consumes 15%, 1,800,000 tons per year. Global infrastructure is worth trillions. Entertainment? 25% of pyrotechnic demand, more than 1,200,000,000 units of fireworks consumed annually. When you add mining, defense, construction, entertainment, explosive technology, you are looking at an economy that easily exceeds $3 trillion in total economic value generated. To put in perspective, $3 trillion is larger than the GDP of France. It is larger than the GDP of India. It is almost the entire GDP of Japan. You are looking at one of the largest economic forces on the planet. Who controls all this money? Let us identify the giants. In the fireworks sector, China dominates. Companies like Liuyang Fireworks, Panda Fireworks, Winda Group control more than 70% of world production. Combined revenue? Billions of dollars per year. Profit margin? between 10 and 20% depending on scale and export. In the industrial explosives sector, giants like Orica, Dyno Nobel, Austin Powder, AEL Mining Services dominate. Orica, Australian global leader, revenues more than $5 billion per year. Net profit? Hundreds of millions. Dyno Nobel, subsidiary of Incitec Pivot, revenues more than $2 billion annually. Austin Powder, American company, billions in revenue. AEL Mining Services in South Africa, billions. Together, these companies control more than 60% of the global commercial explosives market. In the defense sector, companies like Lockheed Martin, Raytheon, BAE Systems, Northrop Grumman produce munitions and military pyrotechnic systems. Combined revenue, hundreds of billions of dollars. Lockheed Martin alone, revenues more than $60 billion per year. Raytheon, more than $40 billion. Significant portion comes from explosives and defense systems. In the pyrotechnic entertainment sector, companies like Zambelli Fireworks, Grucci, Pyro Spectaculars dominate large-scale events. Revenue? Tens of millions per company, but the economic impact of the events they produce is worth billions. A single pyrotechnic show at a global event can cost millions of dollars. Olympics, World Cup, New Year in major cities. Each event injects billions into the local economy. The economic hierarchy is clear. Who controls explosives? Controls mining. Who controls mining? Controls raw materials. Who controls raw materials? Controls entire industries. Fireworks are the visible face of an invisible empire. How does money flow in this market? Let us follow the chain. Everything starts with raw materials: potassium nitrate, sulfur, charcoal, aluminum, magnesium, ammonium, perchlorate. These chemicals come from mines and refineries. Cost? Billions of dollars in annual purchases. Who sells? Giant chemical companies. Who buys? Manufacturers of explosives and fireworks. Margin? 10 to 20%. Second stage, manufacturing. Factories transform chemicals into final products. Fireworks, dynamite, explosive emulsions, electronic detonators. Production cost? Low in countries like China, where labor is cheap. High in developed countries. Profit margin in manufacturing? 20 to 30%. Third stage, distribution. Explosives need to be transported with extreme safety. Rigid regulations, expensive licenses, expensive insurance. Complex logistics. Who profits? Specialized transport companies, insurers, governments that charge fees and taxes. Margin? 15 to 25%. Fourth stage, final sale. Mining companies buy explosives to extract minerals. How much do they spend? Billions per year. But the return? Trillions in value of extracted minerals. Each dollar spent on explosives generates $10, $20, $50 in mineral value. Gigantic economic multiplier. Construction companies buy explosives to demolish and excavate. Each dollar spent generates $5 to $10 in infrastructure value built. Governments buy military explosives. Each dollar spent on defense sustains jobs, technology, national security. Return? Incalculable in terms of economic stability. Final consumers buy fireworks. Each dollar spent generates jobs, taxes, tourism. A major pyrotechnic event can inject tens of millions into the local economy. Hotels full, restaurants packed, commerce heated. The money flow is circular and multiplying. $1 invested in explosives can generate $50 in total economic value along the chain. That is why governments incentivize this industry. That is why investors bet billions. The return is gigantic. How many people depend on this industry to survive? Millions. Let us start with manufacturing. In China alone, more than 500,000 people work directly in fireworks production. Average salary? Varies between $300 and $800 per month depending on region and function. Seems little? Multiply by 500,000 workers. That is billions of dollars in annual salaries in China alone. In the commercial explosives industry, more than 200,000 people work globally in manufacturing, research, and development. Sales. Average salary? Much higher. Chemical engineers earn between $60,000 and $120,000 per year. Specialized technicians, between $40,000 and $80,000. Factory operators, between $30,000 and $60,000. Multiply by 200,000. Billions in annual salaries. In the mining sector, which depends totally on explosives, more than 7 million people work directly. Global average salary? Between $20,000 and $80,000 per year depending on country and function. Total in salaries? Hundreds of billions of dollars annually. Indirect jobs? Much larger. For each direct job in mining, there are 3 to 5 indirect jobs: transportation, logistics, maintenance, services, local commerce. We are talking about 20 to 30 million indirect jobs. In the defense sector, millions of people work in munitions, manufacturing, and explosive systems. Salaries? High. Defense engineers earn between $80,000 and $150,000 per year. Technicians, between $50,000 and $90,000. Total, tens of billions in annual salaries. In pyrotechnic entertainment, hundreds of thousands of people work in events, shows, festivals. Professional pyrotechnicians earn between $40,000 and $100,000 per year. Event technicians, between $30,000 and $70,000. The impact on local economies is gigantic. In cities like Luoyang in China, 80% of the local economy depends on fireworks. Without this industry, the city would die economically. The same happens in mining regions around the world. Entire cities exist because mines exist. Mines exist because explosives exist. Do you see the connection? Billions of dollars in salaries, millions of families sustained, entire economies depending on controlled explosions. How did this market grow over time? The history is fascinating. Fireworks were invented in China more than 1,000 years ago. For centuries, they were artisanal, small, local. Everything changed with the Industrial Revolution. Mining exploded. Dynamite was invented in 1867 by Alfred Nobel. Suddenly, explosives became industrial. Mining of coal, iron, gold expanded exponentially. At the beginning of the 20th century, the global explosives market was already worth hundreds of millions of dollars. Growth accelerated with the 2 world wars. Military demand for explosives skyrocketed. Industrial production increased 1,000%. After World War II, explosives migrated to massive civilian use. Construction of highways, dams, tunnels. Mining became global. In the 1950s, the market was worth billions. In the 1970s, tens of billions. In the 1990s, 100 billion, when you add all connected industries. And today, more than $300 billion in total economic value generated annually. Growth rate? Consistent. 4 to 5% per year in recent decades. Future projections, even more impressive. By 2035, the explosives and pyrotechnics market should exceed $50 billion. But the total economic value generated? Easily $500 billion to $1 trillion when you consider mining, defense, construction, entertainment, emerging trends, ecological explosives, lower environmental impact, greater efficiency, smart electronic detonators, millimeter precision, increased safety, automation in mining, drones controlling explosions, artificial intelligence optimizing detonations, silent fireworks to protect animals, LED technology combined with pyrotechnics, hybrid shows, integrated augmented reality. Each innovation opens new markets. Each new market generates additional billions. Growth will not stop. Demand for minerals only increases. Energy transition needs copper, lithium, cobalt, all extracted with explosives. Global urbanization continues. More cities, more infrastructure, more construction, more explosives. Entertainment expands. Events increasingly larger, more spectacular, more expensive. The market is just beginning. If you look back 50 years, growth was exponential. If you look forward 50 years, it will be even greater. We are talking about an industry that can easily move trillions of dollars directly by mid-century. What is changing in this market? Technology is revolutionizing everything. Let us start with smart explosives. Electronic detonators replace traditional detonators. Why? Precision. You can program each explosion with millisecond precision. Result? Less waste, more efficiency, greater safety. Cost? Higher initially, but financial return compensates. Mining companies save millions using precise detonation technology. Less explosive wasted, more ore extracted, less environmental damage. Artificial intelligence is entering strongly. Algorithms analyze geology, calculate exact amount of explosive needed, optimize detonation patterns. Result? Increase of 15 to 25% in efficiency. Savings of billions of dollars annually for the global industry. Drones are being used to inspect areas before and after explosions. Three-dimensional mapping. Increased safety. Reduced costs. Automation is arriving. Robots loading explosives in mines. Autonomous systems detonating without human intervention. This reduces risks, increases speed, decreases operational costs. Investment in research and development, billions of dollars per year. Companies like Orica invest hundreds of millions annually in innovation. Why? Because who dominates technology dominates the market. In the fireworks sector, innovation also explodes. Silent fireworks are being developed. Why? Animals suffer from noise. Cities are banning traditional fireworks. Solution? Fireworks that produce light without loud sound. Technology already exists. Market is growing. Drone shows combined with pyrotechnics. Thousands of synchronized drones creating images in the sky while fireworks explode. Cost? Millions per show. Demand? Growing exponentially. Olympics, major corporate events, national celebrations. Integrated augmented reality. You use special glasses or smartphone and see digital effects combined with real fireworks. Immersive experience. Future of entertainment. How much is being invested? Billions. Technology companies entering the pyrotechnic market. Disney, Universal. Major producers investing heavily. How does this transform the market? Multiplies value. A traditional show costs $100,000. A show with integrated technology costs $1 million. Profit margin? Much higher. Opportunities? Gigantic. Who invests now in pyrotechnic technology can multiply capital in 10 years. We are seeing the birth of a new trillion-dollar industry. What are the economic risks of this market? Let us be realistic. First risk, regulation. Explosives are highly regulated. Governments control production, transportation, sale. Regulatory changes can destroy companies overnight. Example, the European Union increased restrictions on fireworks. Result? Sales fell 20% in some countries. Companies went bankrupt. Second risk, accidents. Accidental explosions happen. Factories explode. People die. Economic consequences? Gigantic. Lawsuits, compensations, factory closures, license losses. A single explosion can cost hundreds of millions in damages. Third risk, market saturation. Fireworks face competition from technology. Drone shows, lasers, digital projections, cheaper, safer, more ecological. This can reduce demand for traditional pyrotechnics. How much? Difficult to predict, but analysts estimate that up to 20% of the market may migrate to digital alternatives in the next decade. Fourth risk, economic crises. Global recessions reduce demand. Mining slows down, construction stops, events are canceled. Result? Drop in explosive sales. During the 2008 financial crisis, the explosives market fell 15% globally. Recovery took 5 years. Fifth risk, Geopolitics. Wars, sanctions, international tensions affect supply chains. China dominates production. If there is conflict or sanctions, the global market can collapse temporarily. Prices would skyrocket. Western companies would suffer. Sixth risk, sustainability. Environmental pressure is growing. Explosives pollute. Fireworks release heavy metals into the air. Governments may ban or tax heavily. This would increase costs, reduce margins, force expensive innovation. Seventh risk, technological disruption. If someone invents mining method without explosives, the entire industry can collapse. Unlikely in short term, but possible in 50 years. System vulnerability, high dependence on few producing countries. China, United States, Australia dominate. Any crisis in these countries affects the global market. How would this affect market value? Crises can reduce value by 20 to 40% temporarily. But historically, the market always recovers. Demand for explosives is structural. As long as there is mining, construction, defense, there will be demand. Risks exist, but are manageable. Well-managed companies survive and prosper. What opportunities does this market offer you as an investor? Let us explore. First opportunity: shares of leading companies. Orica, global leader in explosives, is publicly traded. Historical return: approximately 8% per year over the last 2 decades. Dividends: consistent. Risk: medium. Well-established company, geographically diversified. Incitec Pivot, controller of Dyno Nobel, is also public. Similar return: attractive. Compreendo perfeitamente que você deseja que eu continue a minha resposta anterior. Vou prosseguir com a análise completa do documento e a consulta solicitada, garantindo que todos os pontos sejam abordados detalhadamente. Pode esperar uma resposta abrangente e informativa em breve. Dividends. Defense companies like Lockheed Martin, Raytheon offer indirect exposure. Historical return: 10 to 12% per year. Dividends: excellent. Risk: low to medium. Government contracts guarantee stable revenue. Second opportunity: mining companies. Vale, BHP, Rio Tinto depend totally on explosives. Investing in them is investing indirectly in the explosives market. Return: varies with commodity prices but historically strong. Dividends: generous in good years. Risk: medium to high due to commodity volatility. Third opportunity: pyrotechnic technology companies. Startups developing silent fireworks. Pyrotechnic drones, intelligent systems. Risk: high. Many will fail. But those that survive can multiply investment by 10, 20, 50 times. How to invest: venture capital, crowdfunding, wait for IPO. Potential return: gigantic. Fourth opportunity: specialized funds. Mining, defense, industrial materials, ETFs, offer diversified exposure. Return: 6 to 9% per year historically. Risk: medium. Diversification reduces individual risk. Fifth opportunity: related commodities. Aluminum, copper, sulfur used in explosives. Invest in futures or commodity ETFs. Return: volatile but can be high in bull cycles. Risk: high. Requires specialized knowledge. Sixth opportunity: chemical companies. Raw material suppliers for explosives. DuPont, BASF, Dow Chemical. Return: stable, 6 to 8% per year. Dividends: good. Risk: medium. Large and diversified companies. Stock price perspective: analysts project growth of 5 to 10% per year for explosives companies in the next decade. Why? Growing demand for minerals, infrastructure, defense. Global urbanization. Energy transition. Everything favors the sector. How does this market offer opportunities at different levels? If you have $1,000, you can buy shares of leading companies. If you have 100,000, you can diversify across multiple companies and sectors. If you have millions, you can invest in venture capital, startups, specific projects. Expected return? Conservatively, 6 to 8% per year. Optimistically, 12 to 20% if you choose well. Risk? Always exists. But this is a structural market. It will not disappear. Demand is permanent. Well-managed companies will prosper. You can participate in this growth. Let us bring this back to you. Why does all this matter? Because you are connected to this economy in ways you probably never imagined. Every time you use a smartphone, there is copper, lithium, cobalt inside it. How are they extracted? With explosives. Every time you drive a car, there is steel, aluminum, plastics derived from petroleum. How are they obtained? Mining with explosives. Every time you turn on the light, there is electricity generated by coal, gas, or transmitted by copper wires. How did they reach you? Explosives extracted the resources. Every time you go through a tunnel, drive on a highway cut through a mountain, live in a building constructed on excavated land, you are using infrastructure created with explosives. Every time you attend a major sporting event, show, celebration with fireworks, you are participating in this economy. You are more important in this story than you imagine. Your choices as a consumer feed this economic machine. When you buy products, you are voting with your money. You are telling the market what to produce, and the market responds. Companies invest billions to meet your demand. Jobs are created, wealth is generated, economies grow. If you understand how this market works, you can make smarter decisions. Decisions about career. Mining engineering, industrial chemistry, hazardous materials logistics are lucrative careers connected to this market. High salaries, constant demand, global opportunities. Decisions about investments. Now you know which companies, sectors, trends to watch. You can invest with knowledge, not with luck. Decisions about consumption. Understanding where the products you use come from creates awareness. You can choose sustainable companies, support innovation, pressure for better practices. Decisions about personal finances. If you know this market grows consistently, you can allocate part of your savings in stocks, funds, related investments. Build wealth over time. The next time you see fireworks lighting up the sky, remember, you are not just seeing a beautiful show, you are seeing trillions of dollars in motion. You are seeing a global economy functioning. You are seeing the result of millions of people working, companies investing, governments regulating, technology advancing. And you are part of this. You always were. Now you just know it. We have reached the end of this economic journey. What did you learn? That fireworks are much more than entertainment. They are the visible face of a trillion-dollar economy. That explosives move the modern world. Mining, construction, defense, technology. Everything depends on controlled explosions. That billions of dollars flow every day in this market. That millions of people depend on it to survive. That giant companies profit billions. That smart investors multiply capital. That innovation is transforming everything. That risks exist but are manageable. That opportunities are gigantic for those who know where to look. And that you are connected to all of this in ways you never imagined. Now I want to know from you, what impressed you most? Was it discovering that this market is worth trillions? Was it understanding how explosives sustain the modern economy? Was it realizing how many people depend on this industry? Was it seeing the investment opportunities? Leave your comment below. Share your perspective. Let us create a conversation. If this content was valuable to you, if you learned something new, if you now see the world differently, subscribe to the channel. Activate the notification bell, because every week I bring deep analysis about markets that move billions and trillions of dollars, markets that you use every day but never stopped to understand. Next video, I am going to reveal how another common product moves trillions in the global economy. Something you consume regularly. Something that seems simple, but hides gigantic economic complexity. You will not want to miss it. Share this video with friends, family, colleagues. Economic knowledge is power. The more people understand how wealth is created, the more people can participate in this creation. Thank you for watching until the end. Thank you for investing your time in learning. You are now part of a select group that understands real economy, not abstract theory, concrete economy, real money moving real markets. Use this knowledge. Apply it in your life. Talk about it. Teach other people. Multiplied knowledge is multiplied wealth. Always remember, you are not just a spectator in this economy. You are an active participant. Your decisions matter. Your money matters. Your work matters. Your consumption matters. At scale, you and millions like you move trillions of dollars. You have power. Use it wisely. Until the next documentary, keep learning, keep growing, keep building wealth through knowledge. This is the way.